So, if you guys are watching this, it means I'm either dead or I've been abducted by the OverThinker. Either way, I'm sorry. But I planned for this contingency, and now it's up to you to see it through.
Man, good thing as far as we know it's the second one, huh?
OverThinker, I know you're not sure of yourself. I know that you live in constant fear of the Necrothinker persona taking hold once again. But I believe in you. I believe that the OverThinker came for you not because he saw your weakness, but because he feared your strength. For a long time now, I've believed that your connection to the Golden Age, untainted by the myriad failings of our modern gaming, could make you the most powerful thinker of all. I'll do my best, OverThinker.
You're the best. Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and fuck the...
Not now. That's why you, OverThinker, must be the one to take the Overstones and the Lost Cross to Wario's Woods, enter the Tower of Mystery, and claim the ultimate weapon, and bring this war to a close. I know you can do this. I believe in you. Now, to Ivan.
Aw man, I'm gonna get all choked up here.
You've been a loyal friend to me, Ivan. Now, I'll need you to do it for the others. They will need you more than ever. Finally, Anti-Thinker. Can you please turn your hat around the right way for fuck's sake? You're in your mid-30s and you're white. Enough is enough.
That's fair.
The road ahead will be hard, but I know you can face it. I know you can win. And one way or another, I will be with you, always. Looking a bit outmatched to me, boys. Maybe if you had some supernatural help to counteract the OverThinker? Oh, and also, don't take any help from Mr. Phibb, since it's pretty obvious to all of us that he is, in fact, the devil. Oh, food.
Arming the teleporter protocols now! Are you ready for this, kid?
Ready as I'll ever be.
On your signal, buddy.
Dr. Beardo, energize.
There he goes.
The boy carries the hope of us all. Think he'll make it?
I do.
Think we'll find the OverThinker before this is all over?
I wish I knew.
So, what did you want to have words about?
So you are the game OverThinker.
And you're the OverThinker. What do you want, monster?
You are not afraid of me?
If you wanted to kill me, I'd already be dead.
Clever boy.
So why am I here? Why is anything that's been going on between you, between me, between any of this happening? At long last, you at least owe me that.
You're in a hurry to reach the end of the game.
This isn't a game, it's life!
Are you sure? Game OverThinker. You are the man who claims to fight for the gamers, yes?
I fight for truth and justice. I use the weapons of games because it's what I have, but I fight for all mankind.
Are you sure?
Do you have a point?
So if gamers were to threaten truth, justice, and mankind, you would have to stop them?
What?
It is a simple question.
No, it isn't.
If gamers became a threat, would you stop them?
What do you mean by gamers?
I mean gamers.
Which gamers?
Explain.
Even taking your stupid question at face value, it just doesn't make any sense. There's hundreds of thousands of different types of gamers, hundreds of thousands of different permutations of that. So at best, your actual question is an overly variable fallacy. At best.
You really think so?
I know so. Besides
what?
Well, the word and this whole idea of gamers as a single thing didn't even exist until the mid-90s, and even then just vaguely so.
Tell me more.
The fact is, for all this talk about gamers and who's a real one and a fake one, the word itself just hasn't been around all that long. Prior to the widespread adoption of the internet, the only way to know anyone else was also a fan of something you were was to meet them. I mean, sure, there were conventions and fanzines and all that, but it wasn't the same thing. The sense of community was more about self-assurance than group identity. You didn't take pride or comfort in being a Trekker or a Whovian or a Misty for some kind of strength in numbers. It was more about the knowledge that this thing was important to you and also important enough to other people that there was a name for it.
That sounds lonely.
Well, in some ways it was, but in other ways it helped us to keep perspective.
Explain.
It was a lot harder to just cocoon yourself in a womb of your own narrow interests. You still had to go out and interact with all sorts of different people just as a daily part of life. Sure, it was a huge pain in the ass sometimes, but it was good exercise for staying human and keeping things in perspective.
And it was this internet that brought this change to gamers?
No, the internet just kind of provided a framework for it. It was the war that made gamers gamers.
Elaborate.
Even when the web first became part of the equation, video games were hugely stratified into a variety of fandoms and subsets. You had your arcade fans, console fans, PC fans. You had Nintendo guys fighting Sega guys and then fighting PlayStation guys. You had RPG fans and Mario fans and sports fans, people who only played Street Fighter, strategy games. Hell, you could even just have guys who were big into Ninja Turtles who had a console just to play the Ninja Turtle games. And even those of us who were really into video games as a whole, you wouldn't really hear us say gamers all that much. You might hear us say video game fan or player or something more like that.
Tell me of the war.
Well, you know how in the 80s we were convinced the Soviets were gonna nuke us into oblivion, and then in the 2000s we thought it was the terrorists that were gonna get us?
Of course.
Well, in the 90s, we were naive enough to think we'd hit some kind of historical tipping point where the world was just never going to be as scary as World War II or the Cold War again, so we found all kinds of other stupid shit to be worried about instead.
I see.
Politicians like Joe Lieberman and Tipper Gore made violent video games into a policy issue, and there was talk of bans and government regulations. Then this nutcase Florida lawyer named Jack Thompson jumped into it and started bringing lawsuits and getting all kind of press attention. For a minute there, it looked like actual censorship of games was something that could really happen. Suddenly, just about everyone who was onto any kind of video game found themselves on the same side of this huge cultural conflagration. And since any side needs a name, gamer fit the bill.
Setting aside differences to unite in common cause, there is nobility in this.
Well, it was also great for business.
Explain.
Look, mainly by coincidence, this was all coming about in the same moment that nature and needs of the games industry was changing. Third parties were gaining power over in-house developers because of standardized specifications, making it easier for near-identical versions of a game to appear on multiple platforms. The median age and income of game consumers was also rising, meaning ownership of multiple platforms was more common. In that kind of marketplace, the industry stands to make more money off a consumer base that thinks of itself as a unified culture rather than a set of individual niches. And it was even better news for the still maturing video game press, since one-stop shopping information hubs could coalesce more traffic than individual fan sites.
So a conspiracy, then?
What? No, that's not what that means.
A collusion, perhaps?
You don't know what words mean, do you?
Watch your tongue, mortal.
Look, in response to the threat of censorship, video game fandom solidified into a singular gamer identity for strength in numbers, and since maintaining that identity was projected to work out well for the industry, that industry enthusiastically encouraged it, just like they encouraged rivalry and separation in the SNES versus Genesis days because it was more profitable then. That's all.
Nonetheless, I detect pride in your telling of this tale.
Of course I'm proud! A whole bunch of people made a decision to stand up for what they thought was right and made a real difference. Why wouldn't I be proud of that?
Interesting.
What's so interesting about it?
You speak of war and unity. You tell tales of heroes and villains, of a clash between freedom and tyranny. You speak of gamers in that age, and you call yourself proud.
Get to the point, monster!
Tell me, Game Overthinker, when you look upon your gamers now, are you still proud? Well...
No.
Why?
Well, I mean, not all of them.
Why?
Because they never learned how not to be at war, okay?
Explain.
It's like I said, gamer as a collective identity didn't exist until the censorship wars. And even though we won those, I'm worried that we've lost the peace. The thing about war is, even though conflict and combat are natural parts of life for just about every living thing, the mindset of being at war isn't. The state of mind you have to put yourself in, not just to win a fight or an argument, but obliterate the other side, is just not compatible with civilized life outside of that setting. And it feels like too many gamers never figured out that the tools you use to fight a war, even one against censorship, just aren't the same tools you use to win an argument, or even just interact with other humans in the regular non-wartime world. That's where the backlash against Arnita Sarkeesian and feminist or social justice criticism in games in general seem to come from. Guys who never managed to learn that Jack Thompson saying these games cause violence so let's ban them, and someone else saying these games reinforce systemic societal sexism or racism, maybe we should think about that, aren't even close to the same thing and cannot be met with the same response. And that when you try to, you undermine whatever point you might have been trying to make, giving into anger and hate over barely understood things that are frankly not worth getting all that angry about. And in the process, leaving you and your anger vulnerable to being co-opted by devious schemers who want to use you to advance some bullshit reactionary agenda, or to just watch the world burn. And when you combine that with how bad gaming has gotten in the last decade, with bloat and greed and shitty developers and shittier content, it's not even that I don't know if we can be saved.
You don't know if gaming deserves to be saved.
No, I don't. What's so funny?
I think you and I understand each other, Overthinker.
Not likely.
Let me tell you the true history of gaming, Overthinker, and show you the true face of me.
That was unexpected.
He should be almost there. almost inside the power of mystery. The demonic antenna at the heart of Wario's Woods.
Wait, so he can just walk right in?
Getting in the front door isn't the issue. We must set the 5 treasures into the altar of Yokoi, or the gateway of gamers will not open. A gamer's gate, do you say? A gateway, yes. Huh, that sounds strangely topical. Like, I bet if you used that as the title of, like, a web series or something, people would cause a big ruckus, even though you didn't say nothing.
I don't know, guys. I think you piss a lot of people off doing that.
So he's in the clear? Not yet. The legend says the seeker will have to pass 3 challenges. First, the breath of games. Only the sarcastic canine will survive.
Sarcastic canine. Sarcastic dog. Duck hunt dog. Duck hunt duck!
Next, the name of games. Only the correct... And now finally, the path of games. Only in a leap from the lion's head will he prove his worth.
Only in a leap from the lion's head may he prove his worth. Oh, come on! Nobody can jump this! It's a leap of faith. Hi?
You have come, and my strength has left me.
Who are you?
The last of 4 mages, who swore an oath to conceal the weapon and guard it.
That was so long ago.
Long time to wait. You're strangely dressed. For a knight?
Not exactly.
I was chosen because I was the bravest and the wisest and...
I'm sorry, I don't have time. Where is the Master Sword?
Master Sword... One final test remains to complete this weirdly extended Indiana Jones reference. You must choose, but choose wisely, for the correct cup will...
This one. This is the cup of a plumber.
You have chosen wisely.
Hey guys.
OverThinker, did you make it?
Yeah, I made it. You guys want to hear something funny?
Sure?
We were wrong. It's not the Master Sword.